back, everyone. We hope you had a delicious lunch break filled with great conversations. As we delve into the post lunch session, get ready for an afternoon filled with engaging discussions and valuable insights. Let's continue our journey of learning and exploration together. We would now like to request Mr. Salim sir, Mr. Khemchand sir, Dr. Manjeet to present the mementos to Professor Madan Lal sir. With great honor, we welcome his esteemed presence. Thank you.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. I, Salim Chauhan, on behalf of organizing team, welcome you all once again for the second session that is on commerce and culture. I hope you all are now energetic after the lunch. And we all are very much waiting for the session that is by Professor Madan Lal sir. Sir is well known in the Department of Commerce. Sir joined Department of Commerce in the year 2015, and before Department of Commerce, Sir was associated with Banaras Hindu University. It is also renowned that Sir is the youngest professor when he joined Delhi University in the department as one who has done his doctorate in literature, DLit. There are few things, certain achievements by the sir. Sir has published number of papers, more than 16 years of teaching experience in Banaras Hindu University, and now in Delhi University in the Department of Commerce. Currently, sir is supervising 8 PhD students and 5 MPhil research scholars. Before this, sir has supervised 4 PhD theses and 56 master's students, that is of MBA course, for the final year students. Sir has been the governing body member of the Hansraj College and number of papers presented in the international conferences, national conferences. Sir has been in various capacities of Delhi University, working in various committees.
Good afternoon, one and all present here. Respected Professor Madan Lal sir, we welcome you. And before we hand over the mic to sir, I would request our Vice Principal ma'am, Dr. Vijay Rani ma'am is also, she has joined us. So we welcome you ma'am. Now, without taking much of your time, I request Professor Madan Lal sir to please come and enlighten us. Thank you.
Respected Principal, Vice Principal, Dr. Manjeet, Dr. R.C. Garg, Dr. Salim Chauhan, Dr. Arjun, Dr. Khemchand, esteemed colleagues, student coordinators and dear students who have come all across South India, and amalgamation of the culture, the topic which actually not necessarily my choice, but it was related to the students coming from the other side of the country and how the things are similar or different, and even in that diversity, how we are managing. That is wonderful, the beauty of Indian culture and the commerce, etc. It will not be majorly the lecture type of a thing. I would like to have interaction with you people also. Okay, I forgot to greet Dr. Purnima and Sunilji, who is coordinating this trip from Vidyavardhaka, right? Quite Bardhaka, for totally Hindi word. And as you know, Vidya Vardaka, as we understand, the uh, when you are enhancing your knowledge or education, that is Vidya Vardaka. The same thing we also understand, and same thing you also understand that. So, moreover, cultural traditions and other similarities are there which unite us, north and south. So what I would like to do is, there are certain pictures, nothing uh, much special, but there are certain things which I would like to discuss, and you can have questions in between also, and then we'll have something which is you might have experienced in this environment also. You might I don't know whether you liked the lunch or not, because it was different as you might be uh, expecting, because in North India if you come, such type of food you will have, and if you go to South India we expect also the South Indian food, and that is the difference and similarity in our standards or our cultures. Namaskara, right? That is what you also say, namaskara, we say namaskar, one and the same thing. Also, this namaskara, Indian culture actually have certain meanings. In this namaskara, it's not simply the greeting to the people. And it is only the subcontinent of India where we have this type of greeting. If you go other part of the country or the world, you will find different types of greetings, and this greeting is having different connotations. What connotations? You might have heard of acupressure, right? Once you do this namaskara, that means your nerves, they touch each other, and their circulation is there in this hands, and this circulation actually moves faster. That is what the namaskara actually implies. Similarly, you might see the rings and the bangles. Traditionally, actually in India or Indian subcontinent, we have these rings and bangles of especially metal, gold, silver. When it is silver, it says that silver absorbs the energy and then transmits it to the body also. That was the purpose of bearing rings also, and then stones are also there that you might be knowing much more than that. Everybody may not bear it, but definitely rings are the part of our tradition, and the bangles or the kadas are the part of tradition. And especially actually initially when it started, then it started with these metals, some other metals also. Nowadays we have modification in our culture and the say rituals, where you can now have this glass bangles also, and then other types of bangles also. Traditionally, this was the purpose of this greeting. Now, when we come to talk about culture and the commerce, actually I thought that let me see what the Ministry of Commerce and Ministry of Culture, what they feel about what is commerce and what is culture, and what their purpose is, because it is these in ministries which actually are taking care of especially these any of the departments. So in this case, in the case of Department of Commerce, it says that in the long run we need to have trade, a major place of India in the trade, and we need to double our trade from less than 2% to develop it, and it may reach up to this 2 trillion also. This is what we are expecting to be there. And as far as culture is concerned, we want to promote it, we want to preserve it and disseminate the culture. That is what they feel, and then make more awareness about the culture, and across the world take this culture for cultural exchange also. That was what the ministries talk about. So that is what we or you people also are there to have cultural exchange and to understand each other's culture. And these cultures have their own, uh, say, their own way of dealing with the situations, dealing with the processes and the products. Uh, just for the sake of giving you some this statistics of India, there are many more, but just I wanted to have just a look on this. Seventh largest country by area, most populated, fifth largest economy recently we have seen, and 2.87 trillion US dollar. GDP per capita is $2,100. That is not much high, but still better as we compare the population of the country. However, it is 1/30th of the per capita of USA and 1/5 of China. But the fastest growing country in the world, and one of the fastest growing country in the world, and we can see how commerce can play a part in developing the economy. We know that whenever we are trying to have sourcing of the goods and services that may come from different parts of the country, different geographies of the country, and these geographies, they are endowed with certain natural resources which actually can be producing certain products and services and can again can be distributed, which is the major concern of the commerce, where exchange of the goods and services takes place. Now, when we talk about commerce or international trade, in that case we cannot forget the Silk Road. In the Silk Road, when initially, it's not that we have globalized currently. Now globalization is much more faster and more reach is there. Earlier also we were having globalization, but limited to certain products and services, or say you can say luxury goods. And especially at that point of time, we had these camels and elephants who were used to transport these goods and services. So when we talk about this Silk Road, we talk about these goods in transit, culture in transit, and disease in transit. So the sea route, the sand route were there, alternate routes were there for Silk Road, and then exchanges used to take place between among the goods, and we have this Southeast Asia and Srijivina, this is now in Indonesia. Very good sea routes were there and reliable routes were there by which we were able to transport the goods. Now, it's not only the transportation of the goods or exchange of the goods, it is again exchange of the culture and the other things which we are going to discuss. Especially what used to happen was, we call it as a trade triangle, where this Silk Road, especially USA and England, they were also good economies earlier. Now also they are good economies. So what used to happen was, USA, this triangle used to have this England used to have sold goods and services to South Africa, and from there they used to buy or take the slaves, transport it to USA, and from USA they used to get this, USA used to export sugar and other products to England. So that was the triangle, and this is how not only goods but services also were there, which were transported through this Silk Road. And as we talked about globalization, America at that point of time, also England, they were very much ahead of the other countries, and there we find these evidences of this globalization. Especially either we have carving on the stones or on the woods, and plus those who were the travelers, they used to write and visit the places, and they used to write the things, whatever is happening, and these documents are preserved, and we are able to get knowledge out of these books and documents. And this is again the Silk Road, which is you can see Southeast Asia and Eurasia, through which it was very much used way of transporting goods and services. So these roads were not the roads like this of today. It was very harsh and dangerous roads were there, and that is why these animals, especially the camels, were used for transportation of it. These were the goods and services which were exported through this Silk Road. As we know that India used to export and import cotton textiles, herbal medicine, precious stones, etc. And then similarly, China, Middle East, they also used to have these products which were sold to these countries. Cultural transaction for whenever, because people go, they share their culture also, and major transaction of culture was of Buddhism. Buddhism in 600 BC, it spread in China and other countries, and that was the major part that this Silk Road and the export and import actually made this possible. These are the some of cultural pictures which are found in this Dunhuang, where we can see that these pictures are from 6th century, and then they are still preserved, and we can get idea from these pictures that what type of cultural transaction used to take place at that point of time also. You are very much aware of the disease in transit. COVID-19 recently has happened. So what does that mean? This means if there was no transit, suppose from China, transportation was not taking place from China. No air, aerial or say road or sea transportation used to take place from China, then this would have finished over there only. But due to the need of the hour, the exchanges are to be there, and then COVID spread over all over the world. Same thing happened during these earlier times. This smallpox, measles, and other types of diseases used to affect those people who used to go there for export and import, and then they used to spread across the world. And similarly, the ocean trade also used to take place, and Venice was the major hub at that point of time. And this is the sea road which used to go through Madagascar. And these are the products which mostly, as we know, whenever we are transporting goods through sea, these are most of the time heavy goods which are transported through the sea. This is one of the Buddhist monument in Java, and only 1% of their people are there in Java who are Buddhist. But still you can see a huge structure made over there, and you can understand that what was the influence of Buddhism at that point of time. And still also that is spread over many other regions. This was earlier, as we know, that whenever you want to send some message, when you want to send some valuables, then it used to go through this route, which is by foot they used to go, and there were people, about 2000 inns were there, where they used to have their stay and eatings and all that. So this was regarding your ancient, you can say, the trade and the culture which used to get transferred from one place to another place. Now as far as north and south is concerned, most of you are very much aware because of the availability of the information that uh, in North India, as we know, most of the time our these geographies are affected by Mughals and Britishers, but South India is lucky to have avoided such situation because there it was not much of the influence. That is why the cultural heritage, which is more prevalent in the South India, is not that much of the there in North India. The influence of Britishers, Mughals, and the West is, I think, more as compared to the South India. Weather conditions are also different in South and North, and not only these weather conditions, this leads to change in the pattern of living also, your eating habits also. If you are in the coastal area, you cannot avoid eating fish, right? And similarly, if you are in the off-coastal area, you may not be not in that much of trade in that consuming that particular product. That is why we have, based on the climatic conditions, based on the weather, the production and takes place, and similarly these things are exported or traded across the boundaries. In the North India, if you see, then seasons are mostly dry and cold, and accordingly the product which we are using, whether clothes or eating or other products which we are using, they have to be in line with the weather and the climate, etc. Language. Language, we have 7,000 language in the world, and in our area, even in say whether it is Uttar Pradesh or Haryana or Punjab, one portion of the Punjab may not be understanding the dialect of the other portion of the Punjab. Or similarly with Karnataka also, this may have happened. But there are languages which unite us, like whether it is Kannada across Karnataka or Hindi across India or English across India. That actually we are able to have these languages. These things, you know actually what language we speak. But as far as language is concerned, why we should focus on language, why we should preserve these languages. There are people who actually, what happens in language, you cannot exactly translate the meaning of the word in the language of the other persons. Like some words are there in Hindi, cannot be exactly translated in English. The meaning of that word is such that you cannot actually convert in English exactly or in any other language. Like when you talk about santushti, how do you translate it in English? Cannot be a satisfaction, it is different than that. So similarly, in every language there are words whose meanings are very deeper, and if suppose the people, now the languages are extinguishing, and the people, I can understand that, I know there is language, we is called to use it as Takari, but this was little bit near to Farsi and Persian. These were used earlier in our scriptures are there available, but the people who are not able to read it, you cannot translate the meaning of that language in your language, you cannot understand that. So extinction of language is, you need to preserve it. Whichever language is there, you need to understand what is the meaning of that. That may give you much more insights than the common language which we are using. That is why we actually can have preservation of these languages. As I have written, by the time my son becomes of my age, half of the language will disappear. Everyone else want either English or Hindi or maybe Kannada especially, or Tamil or not the dialects. Some of the people, they actually hesitate speaking their dialect in the public forum. Where is the harm? There is no harm in speaking in your own language. And this, if this happens, then we will not be able to understand what the context is there of that language. Some of the words you might be, hoy kake, ki hoya. That means, brother, what happened? And kake is having different meaning in different languages. I have given only the example of Gujarati, means uncle, kake. Since there are many other words. So whenever we are not able to understand other languages, we will not appreciate what their meaning is. So we actually need to understand these, and we actually need to appreciate it. Atiti Devo Bhav, the same thing which you understand, we also understand same thing. Shakkar, right? Kripa or Krupa, Daya, Dhaya, little bit difference is there. Karuna, Agni, all these words, most of the South Indian, Sanskrit is very much prevalent in South India, and Sanskrit is considered to be the language of mothers, mother of languages. So there the meaning and the language and the grammar is so pure, so perfect, that each and every word describes the meaning of how the things happen or how we understand the context also. Differences are also there. Bandhu. Bandhu in our North India is called as relative, or, and then Bandhu you have Bandhu Hogi. Come and go? Yes. Right? I may be, because I have taken it from the net, so not much aware, but you can confirm it. Koti, big house. And Koti is monkey, right? Ao, Ao means come. Avu means cow. Like Katha is story, there also story, but you can have this donkey also, right? And similar other things are there, which the words are having different meaning. It's not only in India, it is across the world also. The meanings differ. And even sometimes phrases are there. These phrases actually are making some different sense. We actually read or study in marketing also. You have used something in advertising, but that is having different meaning in other countries. So you cannot standardize this advertising. You have to have country specific or region specific advertising so that people understand the meaning of it as the meaning you want to convey. Contextual language. Kya chal raha hai? And you might have seen it, right? Yes. But other thing of it, kya chal raha hai? Who is asking to whom? If you are asking to a child, kya chal raha hai, the child might be playing. So will respond in that way. If you are asking this to some elderly person who is near about 80 or 85, kya chal raha hai? So the context is different. Similarly for other things. So how the words are used, the context is going to change accordingly. That we need to appreciate and understand as far as culture is concerned. Yes, food. These are the things which you actually, I can understand that you are in higher education, you can understand it better, the differences in foods and all. But when you go to the rural areas, they might not be able to understand. They may think, what is this food? I do not know this, from where it comes. Because they are not used to it. But once you have taken this food once, twice, sometime, even if you do not like it, you have it, and then you may appreciate once the things, if suppose it suits you, because food is very specific to the taste, etc. And one thing which is changing is the culture of metropolitan cities, which the rural students or rural people or urban people may think, let us imitate the people who are there in the urban areas. Not necessarily whatever is happening in the urban areas is good, because they may be doing it out of the, say, compulsion. It may not be their own choice. It is out of compulsion also. Sometimes we have to have these things. And in North India, without spice, you cannot, or parantha and all, you cannot have this. Just these are some of the pictures. You know it better. Yes. One other important thing which unites your culture and commerce is your temples. Nowadays, you might be finding books on temple commerce or temple economy, where huge amount of transactions, trade, selling, buying takes place in the temple campuses or temple premises, you can say. We have basically three types of styles of temples: Nagar, Dravid and Vesara. Nagar is North Indian and Dravidian is South Indian and the Vesara is Central Indian. And actually these temples are also affected by geographies, by climates, and accordingly these temples are made. But however, if you see the context behind making these temples, you will see that almost similarities are there. We have these Kalash, Shikhar, then Amalka, and then Garbhagriha in North India. In South India, you have Shikhar also, and then Vimana, Mandapa, etc. These are the almost same things, but according to the differences in the geographies or the traditions, they change little bit. This is the Visara style of Central India basically. When it changes, then and it's needless to say that these temples are preserving lot of tradition of the country, which you may not find anywhere in any of the books. So these tradition, you may need to understand what was their purpose, why they used to do this, and so nicely it is done. Even if during this age of technology, you cannot think of making such type of temples also. You know this temple? What is the beauty of this temple?
Chariot, stone chariot.
Yes, stone chariot. And then musical, this one. This is so beautifully made. You know, this marble, it's not easy to carve the marble. And even after that, what is done, the sounds of these pillars, it is a musical sound. We cannot imagine even. And that has been made years ago, thousands years. And these are musical pillars, which make, once you say bang on one pillar, it will make a musical sound, and that will soothe yourself. That is why the beauty of these, we need to study these our traditional cultures. What was in their minds? How they made it actually? What was the technology available at that point of time? And then, yes, these are the artisans, you already know it. Will not take much of your time. Just for the sake of showing this. How many of you have visited first time in Delhi? Okay. And in Kashi? Have you gone there? Kashi Yatra? Normally it is done or not? South Indian, actually, Kashi Yatra is very important for them. In their lifetime, I think you want to have Kashi Yatra, or there are other places also. I remember of Kashi Yatra, and then I have seen the people there donating the hair, right? So whether it is a male or it is a female, they actually donate hair there in order to have some sacrifices. Clothing, why we wear, actually, you might be knowing, like your uniform is there, we need to have there in the uniform. What used to have the dress of our Gurukuls? Dhoti kurta. What was the reason behind it? Comfort, the peace of mind, the when you do not feel anything tightened. If you tie your tie, you feel tightened, right? The culture which we have borrowed from the West, right? They used it and we have started using it. Why we are using it, we do not know it. Why we should use it, we should actually see. When you feel, I don't know, because these are the connotations behind whatever you are bearing, whatever you are eating, whatever you are doing, that has impact on your mind, your attributes, features, etc. So, blindly following the best is very dangerous. Similarly, as we know in North India, we had more influence of Britishers, so we are more have these pant coats and all. Right? Musical instruments differently played. These they have, as far as South is concerned, I have visited South and seen these musical concerts also and dances also, so pure, so nice, and almost maximum people want to have such type of say artifact, which is not there, especially in South India, North India. Uh, then dance, as we talked about, these are the different types of dance. They have their own meanings, they have their own connotations, and similarly in the case of North also, not especially North, we have Bengal also and Odisha also, Odissi, etc. Yes, commerce enters here. Kumbh Mela. You know how big this Mela is. Similarly, Pushkar and many other, I have given certain examples, and huge transactions take place because you have to provide facility to the millions of the people, so the goods and services are to be there, and how do you manage it, it will depend upon you. Is just giving you some more on culture. There is this anthropologist Edward T. Hall, who has given these three concepts on culture: context, space, and time. You see that culture is divided into these three things, and these are overtness of the masses. We have two types of culture. One is high context, another is low context culture. And in the case of high context, normally the communication is done in the phrases like she is an angel. That means you are appreciating someone that they are like angel. Not whenever we are talking about high context culture, that means everything is not literally written there and you cannot understand easily. And if it is low context, then its message is very clear. Similarly, in the case of locus of control and attribution of the failure, in the case of high context, if failure is there, people will accept that this failure is due to me. But if it is low context, they will accuse the environment or the factors. Similar thing happens in the case of non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is having different meanings. Have you seen the movie PK? And what is the context there when he says Acha? Acha, mundi hila ke, right? That means some agreement or something like that. Or when you are angry, then और अपनी आंखें गोल करके जब बोलते हैं then अच्छा. और he says तेरी मम्मी का एक्सीडेंट हो गया, then also अच्छा. Similarly, that different meanings, and that is conveyed through these non-verbal expression and reaction. Normally, it is said that high context cultures like India, reaction does not come fast or immediate. In the case of low context, they actually are very prompt in saying whether yes or no. We do not say that. If you are asked to do some work and you are not willing to do the work, you will say, I am busy, right? So that is how indirectly we are saying. That is a high context culture, difficult to understand. If you are busy, whether you are going to do it or not, you are not, others will not be able to understand that. So that type of high context and low context culture is there. That is an example I have already given of Acha, and many other things are there which we actually express in same word in different ways, different things. cohesion and separation of group. In high context, high cohesion is there. Once you are attached to some group, you will not like to divert from that group. However, in the case of low context, no loyalty. If something happens, I will go to that group and something. And this also happens in the case of organizational culture also. Not only the society culture, it is organization also. If you have a group, once you are attached to some group, you will remain there and you will be loyal to that. People bonds are very high in the case of high context and low in the case of low context. Level of commitment actually is very high. Relations are important than the product and processes. And on the other hand, low context task is very important. And the case of flexibility of time is there in the case of high context. Flexibility of time. We will do the work, but when it is done, will depend upon things. And second is time. One is monochronic and another is polychronic. Monochronic is basically low context and polychronic is high context. That means in the case of monochronic, we take one work at a time, and then for polychronic, we have multiple tasks taken together. Similar thing happen for the space also. People acquire more and more money, more and more property, and say this is my property, this is my money. That means their context is low context. And in the case of high context, collective wisdom is there. Whatever belongs to me belongs to everyone. That is the space. That is what in culture, different culture, broadly, it says that these things happen. Basically, when we are talking about this Hall's culture, then it talks about three. And you may find many more in the case of Hofstede had also talked about the culture, and then many other contexts are there in the case of culture. This is how culture is there, and whether your values which are below this sea level or they cannot be easily seen, customs, morals, ethics, only your dresses, how do you speak, that much is visible in the case of culture iceberg. We have, I'll give you the example of Diwali, Holi, or Ramjan and all these. Most of the things are coming from China. Products are coming from China. The commerce enters here. Similarly, what happens is Diwali was especially North Indian festival. Now it is all over India, even world celebrates it. Why? The market enters here. And also, sometime you may not be knowing what is to be done on Diwali, but market tells you this is what you need to do it, and everything is available at your doorsteps. So you go purchase, whether you know the process or not, but you purchase it and do it. I am satisfied, I have done it. This is what the commerce is doing, the market is doing. These things are done for the satisfaction of the people, that this is what, or enjoy, or to properly render this tradition. But market tells you, you do not actually read. Market tells you, this is the thing, that is the thing, you do this way, do that way, and they're here to sell this. This is what a huge, commerce centers here. Similar thing happens in the case of South India also. And last, now take your much time, almost last slides are there. Indian sculpture built 4,300 years ago a temple in Lebanon, right? And this temple is made of granite, about 300 tons granite is there, and built by Tamilians. 4,300 years back, these many big marbles brought from Egypt and made there. Similar thing happens when you are going to Cambodia. Their Angkor Thom, largest temple in the world, is made by Tamilian kings and of course the Tamilian labor also. This one. And no, this one is Baalbek temple in Lebanon, and this is made of the marble. And this one is the Cambodia campus of the largest temple in that particular area, and which was made thousands years back. Okay, so finally what I would like to say is that when we say I want to be a successful person, what do you mean by that? I want to be a successful person. That means I want to be a richest person. Sometime you may say like this, or who is the famous person in the country, in the world? You may say the wealthiest person, you may name that, but not who is most wise person, most intelligent person, most spiritual person. You will not be able to remember it. And just for the sake of you can say the imitation of the best. Imitation of the best. What we are imitating? What best says? I read one research. I was reading something and read one research that methane is dangerous for human being. Animals, they emit methane, and India is the country where largest number of animals are there. So maximum methane is emitted in India. That is why there is a problem in India. And Americans, they say, still it is available on internet if you want to see it. They say, we have made certain products or feed, which if you say feed to your animals, then they will not emit the methane. You can see the height of hypocrisy. Similarly, what we are doing is, we are following the West. What they say? What is good for your body? Oxygen. But they say, no, carbon dioxide is better. Isn't it? West says, carbon dioxide is better. How? Through cold drinks. There is nothing but carbon dioxide. Right? That is what. And similarly, when they say, no, this type of cloth is not good. You wear the torn clothes, costly torn clothes. Clothes are torn from here and there, and we are following it. Why we need to follow them? Why we cannot follow ourselves, our tradition, which is very, very scientific. There are many examples of scientific contribution of Indian tradition in our culture. Whether I have given you the example of this namaskara, or say you are wearing some kadas, or say you are polishing of the ears, that is having scientific reason. You have worship of the tree and all. Your neem tree and people tree, they are worshipped. You know why? They release oxygen 24 hours. Otherwise, people, this leaf or the wood is not so say strong or useful or something like that. They release the oxygen, and neem also, they were connoted with some divinity, so that people do not cut it and it remains there. Your biological balances are maintained. That is how the these trees and these tulsi and all these are actually revered. That is the reason. It's not that there were other things that you do not destroy it. They are good for the balances of the economy or the ecology, and then we actually should preserve them. So lastly, one similarity I would like to find. Any student from your college and other student from Vidyavardhaka, they just they raise their hand. Who I just want to have one interaction with them. Last one. Yes. Anyone?
Yes. One from there.
One. Okay. And one from? Anyone? Yes. Just, what is your name? Chandana. And your? Bhavika. What is the meaning of Bhavika?
Cheerful expressions.
Cheerful expression. And Chandan?
Sandalwood.
Sandalwood.
Street.
Yeah. The thing is that whatever name we are keeping, they are having certain meaning behind it. But nowadays the trend is also changing, right? This change is not for the good. So whenever we want to preserve our culture, you need to preserve it. If some evolution is there, some changes are there, we need to definitely adapt to it. But whatever is good, that we need to preserve it. Whatever is bad, you can forget. There are many things which are not good also, you can forget it. But carry those things which are better for our life, for our santushti, for our well-being, for our health and all. Thank you very much for listening me. Thank you.
Thank you for the insightful session, sir. Your expertise illuminated the intricate relationship between these two vital aspects of society. Looking forward to implementing your valuable insights in our endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in inviting Dr. Sunil to the stage to deliver the concluding remarks for our event. It's now time to extend our gratitude to all those who have contributed to the success of the session.
Good afternoon, one and all present here. So myself Sunil. Presently I am pursuing PhD, not yet completed my doctorate. But anyway, it's my pleasure to propose this concluding remarks for the session. The speaker from Professor Madan Lal, Professor from Department of Commerce, University of Delhi. So firstly, wholeheartedly we accept your namaskara, being an Indian, especially the Indians from the south. We are most attached to the emotions and culture. From this session and from this today's insights, whatever that we got in the forms of knowledge, we carried that and we promise that we are going to be connected more emotional to this institution because of these two sessions. Regarding this session too, Sir has said few things about the features of Indian country. One is that India is most populated country. So I think this is a good side, not in terms of any other health regarding that, but it is a good sign in terms of culture and commerce because when the population is more in the country, it becomes very easy to flow the cultures of the ancestral traditions and everything. So that is the one key things what I found. And the second thing is that other key words, sir, which has spoken on that, like aavo, like in Hindi we call them like welcoming, but in terms of the Kannada language we call them as cow. So usually we need I thought that rather than the words, the situation is more powerful because we need to execute the words depending upon the situation. So I feel the words are more power and the situations are more power than the words. So that is what I found from Professor Madan Lal's speech over here. And recently we found that the country, Thailand actually, they have been announced visa free for the 6 months and they have been extended for another 6 months also. So this is one of the strategy to boost the tourism as well as to introduce the culture of that particular country to another countries also. So we can note that point on this thing. And the overall ideology of the professors over the speech, what I found is that the commerce should follow through the culture, not through the disease. So which was highlighted in terms of COVID-19 situation and all. So thank you so much, sir, for uplifting these theories through commerce and culture. Also, I found there is a differentiation like commerce versus culture also in this over speech. So apart from these things, I think there is a formal vote of thanks, but still I take this opportunity to thank Hansraj College on behalf of my institution, Vidyavardhaka First Grade College, especially the PG department. So I thank Hansraj College for hosting this national level workshop for our students exclusively. So firstly I thank the principal of Hansraj College, Dr. Rama Madam, for supporting this workshop. And especially the one person name which I heard most is Dr. Manjit Singh Sagi sir. Usually our HOD madam, Dr. S. Poonima ma'am had conveyed and almost she had been connected with this person from last 1 month. So it makes us easy to be here today to execute this workshop and to engage this present event among the busy schedule of our 14 days trip actually. So thank you so much, sir, for making this, the workshop very smooth and very easier. And I also thank the resource person of the session, the first resource person session, Professor A.K. Singh, sir, and the second person, Professor Madan Lal, sir, from the University of Delhi. So apart from this thing, again I should thank my principal, Dr. S. Marigoda sir, who is the present principal of our Vijayavataka College, the PG department. So he's a very active person who is also engaged in his passion even after his retirement. So firstly I thank him, and I also thank my management for supporting us to be here today in this city. So usually we know that capital of India, when we say what is the capital of India, we call it as Delhi actually. Actually, I'm new to this New Delhi, sir, because I've never visited this city particularly. But today, from spending the time from morning 11 or 10 till now, with looking into all infrastructure, the facility, the resource person, the quality which are having in this institution. So I think that when we ask a question that what is the capital of India, we say that Delhi. I think the Hansraj College can become the capital of commerce when we ask. So I wish this institution shall have this keynote on these terms in the future, and I wish all the best for the Hansraj College and the team who have done this workshop for today, and also for their future endeavors. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sunil sir, for your insights on the session. We are truly honored to have you here. Now I would like to call Mr. R.C. Garg sir to present the vote of thanks for the event.
Good evening, one and all present here in this hall. I think most of the bottom thing has been done by Mr. Sunil. So formally on behalf of my college, I feel honored and privileged to have been allowed to extend a vote of thanks on this special occasion. On behalf of our college, I would like to propose a vote of thanks especially to our Vidyavardhaka PG Center Mysuru participants. I want to extend my warm regards and heartiest thanks to our valedictory session's chief guest, Professor Madan Lal sir, Delhi School of Economics, Department of Commerce, for his valuable and enlightening words. Sir, thank you for your sparing time and providing certain edge to this special session. I also thankful to our Dean and Head, Professor A.K. Singh sir, who had chaired our inaugural session in the morning. Further, I would like to express my gratitude to our dynamic and visionary principal, Professor Rama ma'am. Sir Sunil also expressed their overview about his principal. So our principal is not even in a merely, she is also very dynamic and visionary in she is very sportive and aspiration for us, not for the this particular college, but also for the entire university as well as the nation also. So ma'am is always ready to contribute and facilitate with all amenities that required to any noble cause. My vote of thanks to our workshop convener Dr. Manjit Singh Saggi sir, co-convener Dr. Arjun Mittal, Salim sir, and Mr. Khemchand, Department of Commerce, and all other organizing team members. Also thanks to our colleagues, college colleagues who participated in this workshop. And special thanks to Vidyavardha PG Center faculty, Mysuru, Dr. S. Purnima ma'am and Mr. Sunil for their valuable time and selecting this particular college for this particular workshop. Also thanks to our college admin supporting staff, especially Pavanji, I think he is not here presently, who is clicking very beautiful pics of our delegates. Admin staff, AO our Dilip Singh, you are very much sir, you are here in this particular workshop. Last but not least, I want to extend a vote of thanks to our Commerce Society office bearers and other college students participants who spared their time and joined us. Once again, thank you all for your patience listening and participation in this particular workshop. Thank you.